is Tom Nipper. I'm the acting Deputy District Director for Administration for Caltrans in District 9 in Bishop. We got a number of speakers that wanted to talk this morning, but first I'd ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Is District Director of District 9 for Caltrans, Brent Green.
Everyone can hear me in the back? Thumbs up. Well, it's a great morning to meet. I was worried about the heat. I'm okay for now, but later on I'll probably be taking the coat off. And I noticed no one sat in the front row, so it's just like pretty much every other event that we ever go to. So here we go. Well, in 1995, community leaders and transportation planners developed a vision to build a 4-lane highway along the Eastern Sierra Corridor. This morning we are celebrating the 39th 4-laning project along the corridor, and it marks one of the last sections to be completed. This project has improved the existing highway by constructing a 4-lane divided highway. However, before I discuss the importance of this project, I'd like to start by taking a moment to thank our many partners. First, to my left, it looks like he's moved. Aaron Akimi, who's the Executive Director of COG. With us today, Doug Thompson, who is on the Local Transportation Commission for Angel County. We also have Commissioner from Mono County, Mr. John Wentworth, who is also currently the town manager. And the reason I mention these three gentlemen and these three organizations is because this project, as many projects in the Eastern Sierra along the 14395 corridor, are what we call MOU projects. And many of you may know what that is, many of you may not. But this is a pretty unique structural arrangement for funding projects. And it's looked upon favorably throughout the state and with the California Transportation Commission because it shows real partnering between several counties to pool their county shares, their funding, to make projects possible that individually they may not be able to take. So these MOU projects started many years ago, and I think another speaker may speak a little bit more to that. But that's why you see 3 different organizations here today and why it's such a celebration for all those various organizations. I'd also like to thank John Van Linter with the Granite Construction Company, and there's John over there. And of course, Granite is the one out here that actually put pavement down and actually made the project happen, so we certainly appreciate that. I'd also like to thank a representative from Senator Jean Fuller's office, and I don't believe she's here yet. She arrives later, we'll be sure to introduce her. And we also have someone from a similar member of Vince Fong's office who will be joining us later as well. Inside Caltrans, this has been a unique team effort. The environmental, design, and construction elements of this project were completed by Caltrans District 6 in Fresno, while the right-of-way and survey portions of the project were completed also by Caltrans District 6 staff at the time, however, housed in Bishop. So both sides of the Sierras had a lot to do with the development of this project. There were many teams of people whose work was crucial to the development of this project. I'd also like to thank these individuals and teams who made the project an ultimate success. First, I'd like to recognize Sammer. There's Sammer. Who is the Deputy District Director of Project Management in Fresno. We also have with us today the project manager, Minerva Rodriguez. Minerva, there. I actually said something to Minerva that she should be the one up here because if you're a project manager for a project of this scope and you've got to wrestle all the various players together to make the project happen, it's a pretty tough challenge. So thank you. Appreciate that. Design manager Cal Bauer. Is Cal here? Design engineer Anton, and he said I could just call him Mr. K because I can't pronounce his last name. Environmental manager Richard Butler. Is Richard here? Richard's not here. Associate environmental planner Sam Fongsaven. I think I met her earlier. I tried, okay. Senior environmental planner for biology Dina Gonzalez. He's here. Construction manager Emrit Rar. The resident engineer for the project, Sam Dollywell. We spent quite a few hours out here. The District 9 survey staff, who I don't believe is here today, but there's several surveyors who helped out of District 9 and Bishop. And of course, we have many of our right-of-way staff here today. We have Nancy Escalaire, who is here in the front, Mark Delsey, Richard, Julian Ellis, and Von Tatum. And I know that Von's here. And we're hoping Von's still here when we finish the next section of the project. Is that going to happen? You're not? Okay. We tried. By improving this highway, we've significantly helped local residents, as well as visitors and the trucking industry, who all use this highway as a gateway into Kern County and the entire Eastern Sierra. Year-round tourism is a major contributor to the economies of the Eastern Sierra, and improving access to this area is a shared economic goal. About 25% of traffic along this corridor consists of heavy trucks. With so many trucks, we have heard endless complaints from motorists wanting to pass these slow-moving trucks safely and easily. And for those of you who have been behind one of these trucks, it doesn't seem like there's 25% trucks. It seems like there's 100% trucks. So we get that all the time. We have a lot of, just like a lot of you, we just spend a lot of time on this road, so we know how it is. Projects like Freeman Gulch are the solution to this issue. Luckily, we have 3 additional projects planned that will finally complete the vision that started back in 1955. These projects include the Olancha-Cartago project, which is north of us, and that project is fully funded through construction. And the remaining 2 projects are what we call Freeman Gulch 2 and 3. The project that we're celebrating today is Freeman Gulch 1. Freeman Gulch 2 starts here, goes south about 5 miles, past the 178 west, and then Freeman Gulch 3 starts right after that and brings you all the way down to the canyon. The Freeman Gulch project exemplifies the value and benefits for residents as a result of strong partnerships between Caltrans, our MOU partners, and local communities. These partnerships only become more important as we identify projects that are vitally needed throughout our county and cities through the Road Repair and Accountability Act, the funding and oversight package commonly known as Senate Bill 1. Expectations are high, and we recognize we have an even greater responsibility to deliver for the people of California. Investing in transportation infrastructure is vital to economic growth, besides moving people and freight to their destinations safely and efficiently. It supports thousands of jobs. Over the next decade, Caltrans is embarking on a strategic mission to smooth our highways, strengthen our bridges, improve our traffic management systems, and provide Californians with a full range of travel options. $54 billion will be invested in our street transportation improvement system over the next 10 years, and approximately half of that of these funds will go to local cities. We will also be able to finally catch up on years of unfunded maintenance that have plagued our roadways for years and that many of us grapple with each and every day, which means less potholes, improved signals and ramp meters, fixing culverts and bridges. Construction began this summer on 13 pavement projects across the state, including projects in Kern, Inyo, and Mono counties. I believe the next project in eastern Kern County that's an SB1 project is on 178 west up toward Walker Pass, and I believe that's going to construction next year. In Inyo, Mono County, we have a series of projects, and if you drive up eastern Sierra, you'll see many projects. Some of the projects are a project in multiple locations, but all those projects are funded through SB1. Thanks to the passage of SB1, Caltrans is now able to start several projects planned for later years and complete the work earlier than anticipated. The accelerated construction work is taking place in every county. While Freeman Gulch 1, the project we're celebrating today, did not receive funds from Senate Bill 1, the remaining 3 projects will benefit from SB1 because SB1 helps restore the State Transportation Improvement Program. We will make sure that the remaining Freeman Gulch projects are competitive for future STIP funding, and we constantly seek alternative fund sources to bring those projects to fruition. So once again, I want to thank everyone who played a role in making this project possible, and I hope afterwards we get a chance to talk, and I'd love to hear from everybody and their thoughts. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to introduce the Kern County Council of Governments Executive Director, Aaron Hakimi.
Good morning. My name's Aaron Hakimi. I'm with Kern Council of Governments. Good morning, Mayor Wood, Mayor Wentworth, Councilmember Mauer, Commissioner Thompson. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Minerva, for getting funds at the last minute for this project. Many people don't realize that, but Minerva's efforts played a huge part in getting this project funded 3 years earlier than was planned. Thank you, Minerva. All of you know State Route 14 provides unprecedented access to Inyo and Mono from Southern California. This is the way people from Los Angeles and Orange County get to the recreation areas in the eastern Sierras. So why does a project that is this important to the major population center of California take a full generation to complete? It's easy to blame those delays on a lack of funding, which is partially true. But we also have to recognize that there were delays and cost overruns in the environmental clearance, in the right-of-way, in the design. The MOU that Brent mentioned that mentioned this project was signed in 1998. Just think about that for a second. My son was born in 1998. He's now completing his sophomore year of college. 20 years ago, that's a generation. To me, as a taxpayer, that's unacceptable that a project that is this important takes us a generation to deliver. The environmental clearance on this project was delivered a decade ago. Why does it take so long in California to deliver important projects that save lives? Everyone who I know who drives out here says these projects are overdue. Many of you know I served in the military for 32 years, so I'll share with you some stories. And you may not be history buffs, but I am. The United States mobilized in late 1941 to fight World War II. We mobilized over 1 million men, nationalized the economy of the United States, transformed our economy. We shipped over 1 million men and women, soldiers, sailors, and airmen to Europe and to the Pacific. Fought the Axis powers, prevailed, all in less than 5 years. Yet we're here 20 years after we signed an MOU. President Kennedy, another example, challenged our nation to put a man on the moon in May of '61. The late Neil Armstrong walked on the moon in July of 1969. Only 8 years. The partnership between Kern COG, Inyo, and Mono that Brent mentioned is a great partnership. We will continue it, but collectively we have to figure out how to deliver projects faster and cheaper. We cannot continue to take generations to deliver projects like these. Kern COG is committed to delivering the future projects in the MOU, but I challenge all the people that are involved with these delivery of these projects, just like President Kennedy challenged the country, to deliver the project significantly ahead of schedule and significantly under budget. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce the Inyo County Local Transportation Commission Chairperson, Doug Thompson.
You know, it's like home to me. That transmission line right over there, about 1987, blew down. I got a call about midnight that I had to go get some people and figure out how we're going to put the 13 towers back up. And it was snowing, wind was blowing about 100 miles an hour. And that historical fact made me believe that we have wind in the Sierra. I'd never seen it before. So when we designed the Atlantic-Ortega project, there was a comment somebody made that we don't have wind in this area. But then I remember there's another transmission line just a few miles from Atlantic-Ortega that blew down. So we have wind. It is a design element that is really critical. Some engineering facts about that, they thought the construction workers are going to steal the steel to rebuild the towers. So they decided to put all of the replacement parts in one location. You remember I said it was snowing? You know how fast it takes to move 13 towers of steel up and down the transmission line road with a caterpillar? So sometimes you have to think these things through. So another comment I like to make is, we don't know what this is called. It's either the El Camino Sierra, or maybe it's called the Grand Army Highway, or maybe it's called the Three Flags Highway, 14 or 395. So this road, it was really started by an organization in the early 1900s called the Good Road Organization, Good Road Club. And they had a dream to make this happen all through Inyo Mono County. It's an amazing long process. You know, you look at the population out here, you look at the remoteness, and it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of pressure from the local traffic. It's not the local traffic, it's the interstate and visitation, you know, the tourist traffic, you know, some large numbers. And so when we talk about numbers of the local traffic, it's insignificant. So sometimes these projects, I think, are overshadowed because the big cities get a lot of influence by the number of traffic, you know, congestion. But we have, you know, like Atlantic-Ortega. There's days where it stops in Atlantic. It'll be back up almost to Lone Pine. It's a traffic jam of maybe 10, 12 miles long. And the same thing happens down in this intersection. Kramer Junction is another example. We talk about the MOU projects, and I think that was an amazing decision when the organizations joined together, because we had strength in numbers. You know, the back part of Kern County, you know, the northern part of Inyo and Mono County. When we joined together San Bernardino County on the corridor between Atalanta and Kramer Junction. We try to move these projects forward. And I think this is a model that worked. We have a little short section just south of us here, and we have Atlantic-Ortega, and that'll finish the 4-lane from basically LA to Levining. And then when you look north, state of Nevada is moving south. They've completed the 4-lane now just past Carson City. So that leaves a short section that'll still need to be 4-lane, and I'm sure John is going to make sure that the rest of that gets completed in the next year or two to get that done. These highways, you know, this year alone from the Victorville to 14 intersection, there's been 14 fatalities. And that's terrible. We had another fatality, a two-person fatality here in Inyo County. I think John had one just around Bridgeport. And you know, a lot of times you look at these fatalities and you understand that there's somebody passed, somebody did a wrongful pass, they didn't have enough closing distance. And you think, well, how can that be a traffic problem? How can that be a road problem, a road design problem? It is because it separates that element. It leaves the people to really not be conscientious drivers. It gives them the freedom to actually, you know, go to sleep and run off the road. But then it usually only involves that one car, not a family. You know, we had a family accident south of Valencia. It was terrible. Mother and father passed away. The young child, I think is 3 years old, was flown over to Bakersfield Hospital. So and then, you know, over the years, the Caltrans guys, I remember working with a guy named Gary Vogel. I don't know if anybody in Caltrans remembers Gary Vogel, a really good friend. And another guy, he was kind of chunky, and we kept looking at each other. And I thought, God, I know this guy from someplace. And he kept looking at me, and he says, have we worked together? And I said, well, I never worked for Caltrans, I never worked for, you know, Brandon. And I said, but I did work on a dam down in Southern California. I worked at Castaic Dam in the early 1970s. And Sonny was in that project. I don't know if you know Sonny. But Sonny was, you know, we worked together in 1970. So the construction is a small family, you know. And I think sometimes we forget to recognize the inconveniences that the people that build these roads actually make. Their families are probably hundreds of miles away. They travel to these remote locations. They work all day in the heat, and the wind, and the cold, and sometimes there's probably disagreements, but they live through that. Sometimes there's probably not enough motels in Ridgecrest, so some of them probably had to commute from Lancaster, and they'll try to live in trailer parks. But pretty soon, over a period of a few years, that lifestyle just removes them from the mainstream of society. They go from project to project, and I'm sure, just like this project, some people probably had to go out to the layoff line and waiting for the next project, but they don't have any idea where that's going to be. So I think we owe Granite Construction a lot of respect for what they do. I worked with them on the Manzanar and the Black Rock Division, and they did an incredible job there because I think they might have even, funded the project when the state ran out of money, and they kept the project going. So I think we owe Granite a lot of respect for what they've done in the past, and hopefully in the future that we can work with them again. And thank you.
Our next speaker is John Wentworth, who's the mayor of Mammoth Lakes and the chairperson for the Mono County Local Transportation Commission and the Eastern Sierra Council of Governments.
Good morning. It's great to be here. I'm a 35-year resident of the state of California, which means I will be closing in on my 37th birthday soon. When I first came to California, one of the first places I came was up here to the Eastern Sierra. I didn't really know where I was going or why I was going there, but I did learn that sleeping in your car is against the law in California. I want to thank the California Highway Patrol for pointing that out to me. When I woke in the morning, I was somewhere up here on Highway 395, and I was driving back to Los Angeles, and perfect, beautiful day like today, a little less wind. And the Highway Patrol stopped all traffic. And I was thinking yesterday, Brent sent me over some material yesterday about what to maybe talk about today. And I was trying to figure out how to personalize this, how to make this something that we could all kind of relate to. I remembered back to that morning 35 years ago when I waited in a line of traffic for about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. And they finally released the traffic and we rolled by, and I saw a car that was no longer recognizable as a car. This is a car that had been involved in a head-on collision, I think with a truck, early on a Sunday morning, a beautiful day like today, and it really reiterated to me how important the work is that's happening with Highway 395. And so on behalf of the Mono County LTC, Town of Mammoth Lakes, and all of us up north, we want to thank all the folks involved in this project. Great project management efforts keep the state moving forward, and how important this is going forward. A couple things to keep in mind. I will always now come down this road and know there's a little bit of Mono County in this blacktop down here. And we're very much looking forward to seeing a little bit of Kern County up north. I know we're going to make that happen because partnerships and working together is how the Eastern Sierra, this is how we conduct business. This is how we live. This is what we have to do to survive. We're part of rural California. It's a struggle for rural California to get the resources and the attention that we need from the rest of the state. This beautiful segment of this new highway is going to be delivering people to the federal public lands in the Eastern Sierra, starting from right over here all the way to the north. I don't know if most of us realize that 48% of the state of California is federal public lands. Morrow County, Inyo County, Kern County, we're working together to bind all these things together to be able to truly deliver the federal public landscape on behalf of the American public for all of us. In addition to this beautiful highway here, other things that are binding us is Digital 395, which is right over here. 432 strands of fiber optic cable that was paid for by the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Big opportunities to combine this unique piece of asphalt with that technology infrastructure. How do we work together to make all these things work for the very ambitious climate change goals of the state of California? All the carbon to be sequestered in the state of California is going to happen in the federal public lands here in the Sierra. It's a big part of that. The water for the state comes from up here. Catastrophic wildfires come up here as well. And I think these partnerships and the work that we do together is all about how do we further invest in the economic resilience and quality of life of rural California, and what role can rural California be playing in the future of the state of California. It's my profound pleasure to be here. I have a great time working with Brent, Caltrans, and all you guys, and very much looking forward to seeing just a little bit more of Kern County up there. Thank you all very much.
Last year, and this is certainly a milestone, so thank you all for coming. I'm not much for speeches, but I really wanted to thank, but Doug, you really did it. Thank you. You talked about the construction teams being a family, and we really are. A project like this has a lot of challenges on it. Most of us live more than 100 miles from here, and driving out here every day, that's a couple of hours on top of a 10-hour day. You do the math, it starts to be really long hours, guys away from their families. You really understand that and appreciate that. I appreciate all our crews and the inspectors and environmentalists. It takes a full team effort to build a project like this, and this has truly been a team effort. Just a couple of interesting facts about the construction of this project. We moved about 600,000 cubic yards of dirt, which kind of put that into truckloads. That's about 50,000 truckloads of dirt moving up and down here, and trying to flatten out some of these hills, right, Anton, and make the sight lines better. And I think the design did a great job in what this project turned into. About 100,000 tons of aggregate base is underneath this asphalt that you're sitting on, and about 100,000 tons of this asphalt, which came all the way from Lancaster, about 90 miles away. All this material was trucked in. So a lot of effort, a lot of people, all the way from the trucking companies that employ up to 50 trucks a day just to bring this asphalt here. About 1.5 miles of pipe going across these different roads to get the water from that side to that side when it rains. As you know, when it rains here, it really can rain, right? So keeping that water flowing through. The climate, as we mentioned, there's a lot of wind up here. We kind of joked, but kind of not. When we would see the semis turned over on the side of the road, that was a good clue. It was for us time to stop working for that day. And that literally happened several times. Trucks driving through here, it would be so windy that they would just flip over on the side of the road. So it was a constant effort to keep dust under control and keep our workers safe in that environment. Of course, the temperatures, really hot out here as well. Environmentally, we had a whole bunch of species of concern. I'm pleased to report we've had no takes, right? It's good. And in addition to that, environmentally, we had some critters that weren't so friendly, like the Mojave Green rattlesnake, which is one of the most deadly snakes in the whole country. This is one of their prime grounds, and we've seen a bunch of those. Fortunately, nobody's interacted with. We've seen them, but nobody's gotten bit by any. Aaron, you were talking about how difficult it is to get projects approved and right-of-way acquired, and all of those processes, long delays and over budget. And I'm delighted to say that the construction of this project is ahead of schedule and under budget. And it's really fun to work on a project like that. It's hard to believe that less than a year ago, there was not a shovel of dirt had been turned yet. We started here about the middle of July with actual construction. So in less than 11 months, we've rebuilt both sides of this highway, and we're proud of that accomplishment as a team. As far as the key field teams, I just want to recognize, I wish Clyde was here. He was our superintendent here every single day, long hours. He's at another job today that had an important milestone, but just want to recognize him. Jeff Cox, our project engineer, who's been here every single day that this job has been going. And Joey Carroll, I see him back here, one of the inspectors. He's been here the entire time. And a lot of other guys that aren't here today, but I just want to acknowledge those. Sam, our RE, my counterpart from Caltrans, it's been a pleasure to work with this guy. He's tough. We didn't always see eye to eye, but we did work things out, and we're able to keep this project moving forward, and it's a pleasure to work with a guy like that. Our inspectors I mentioned, Caltrans Survey, Caltrans Maintenance guys, thank you, James and your team, for your support working with us. CHP, you guys were here supporting us as well. Our environmental team, our subcontractors. I talked with Tracy this morning, the striper superintendent. He's like, you better get those chairs off the pavement because I'm a-coming. So he's working down on the other side of that hill. They're going to be striping this highway. We're going to have traffic on here the day after tomorrow. So this truly is a ribbon cutting. We're really close to having traffic split north and southbound, which is really one of the safety objectives of this project. So we're looking forward to that. Adjacent property owners, Barry and Catherine Beckman, are here. They own the ranch right on the other side of the hill. Great. We rented property from them for our office, and they were great to work with. They also provided water, which we needed a lot of for this project. So Thank you, guys. So I just want to thank you all of you folks that worked so hard on this project. It was really a pleasure to be part of it. And yeah, enjoy the road. Thank you.
Our last speaker is California Highway Patrol Mojave Area Commander, Lieutenant John Williams.
Good morning. This is beautiful weather. I think it's a little bit of wind. You'd have to get a nap in if you need in your car. Yeah. Like it's too hot. Not overnight. So good morning. I am Lieutenant John Williams. I'm the commander of the Mojave CHP. And I'd like to first thank Caltrans District 9 for inviting CHP to speak today. The Freeman Gulch 4-lane project is instrumental in assisting Caltrans and the CHP in meeting our independent goals, which together help us provide a transportation system which will enhance California's economy, livability, and a safe route for California's motorists to travel. The CHP, we are committed to providing the highest level of safety, service, and security to the motoring public. And as a local commander, I'm going to do what I can to commit all of my available resources and educational programs to support our Caltrans partners with the ultimate goal of saving lives and decreasing fatalities on the roadway. I would like to thank the residents of Inyokern, Ridgecrest, and surrounding communities for their support during this construction project. Citizens' traffic complaints to the CHP were minimal, and most of the motorists practiced good care and caution while driving through the construction zone. As we all can agree, highway work is extremely dangerous, and with the public's assistance, there were no major incidents which would have caused serious bodily injury or death to workers. In closing, I'd like to remind all motorists to continue safe driving habits, move over and slow down when you see Caltrans, CHP, or other EMS personnel with their lights activated. The safety of our road workers is paramount. Thank you again, Caltrans District 9, for the hard work you did on this project, and the CHP is looking forward to maintain our strong partnership on future projects. Thank you.
We have a couple of quick presentations from local elected officials. We have Lily Abgalon representing Senator Gene Fuller, Mia Cifuentes from...
Right here. Yeah.
Come on up to Mia Cifuentes from Assemblymember Vince Fong's office.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. And we also would like to take the opportunity to thank all of the community and especially Caltrans for making this possible. I actually am the one that comes out to Ridgecrest for Senator Fuller. So I thank you for making this route a safer place for us to drive in. So on behalf of the California State Senate and more specifically Senator Fuller, I have a certificate of recognition on your ribbon cutting for the California Department of Transportation.
I'm just a tad bit shorter, so. So same thing as Lily. It's an honor to be here with you all as representing Assemblyman Vince Fong. Just being able to see the improvements on our road is, for me, that travels on this road. I've been seeing it, I've been seeing the process, and it's just an honor seeing it's complete. So I can't wait until, I get to travel on it next time I come. And so on behalf of the State Assembly, I would like to present this certificate of recognition to Caltrans District 9 for all of your hard work. Thank you.
Sammer, Deputy District Director, Project Manager, District 6.
Good morning. My name is Sam Rashad, Head of Project Management in District 6 in Fresno office. I would like to present a partnering certificate to Brand Construction. When we talk about partnering for the office people, as I was driving actually down here, for the office people, they think of barbecue, right? That's what we think of, but it's a lot more than that. For partnering is really, it's a concept of bringing stakeholders together and having them work together to tackle issues on a construction project like this, of this size. There's a lot of issues. So tackle those issues together and make sure the project gets delivered. So that's kind of the concept. That's what partnering is. We would like to give this, on behalf of construction division, we would like to give this award to Granite Construction for just their effort in partnering and look at the best business practices on this project. So, John. Then I have similar, just like I said, partnering is really, it's a teamwork concept of delivering a project. So I would like to present this to the local construction office here, for their effort to work with Granite and make sure this project is delivered ahead of time and actually leaving some money on the table too. So appreciate that. So Sam, if you would come please, and Amrit.
Now I believe it's time for the ribbon cutting.